Jehovah's Witnesses have predicted the world's end many times. Is that true or false? It depends on who you ask. If you ask Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll say no, they've never predicted the end of the world. And if you ask former members who've been investigating, they'll say yes. What's the truth? I've got the ultimate video to clear up all your doubts. Hello, friends. Welcome once again to Emma's Corner. I'm Emma, and this is your home, your place, your corner. And indeed, today we're going to find out if Jehovah's Witnesses have indeed predicted the end of the world many times and failed. They failed without predicting it. Why do some call them false prophets? I think this video is going to be very important, so if you like it and know someone who has doubts about this religion and more, you can send it to them to say, hey, well, yes, you have predicted it, or no, you haven't. This is the ultimate video. Today they claim they've never given exact dates, but it's true, they still assert the end is just around the corner. Let's see if the exact dates are true or false, an apostate invention, or if indeed this religion, which some label as a sect, can be called false prophets for having prophesied the end of the world 1, 2, 3, 4 many times. Let's see. Let's go to the first prediction made by their founder, Charles T. Russell. Well, actually, this man who said many things claimed that in 1874, Jesus came invisibly to earth and that in 1914 the end would come, as it was the end of the Gentiles. In the Watchtower, it was written, "We see no reason to change the dates, nor could we change them if we would. They are, we believe, God's dates, not ours." But note that the end of 1914 is not the date of the beginning, but the end of the time of distress. What happened in 1914? Well, indeed, the First World War broke out, but the world overcame it and nothing happened. So they changed their doctrine and did something that also served the Adventists, because remember that Jehovah's Witnesses are a branch of Adventism, which also said that something invisible had happened in heaven and so on. So they changed the doctrine and said that in 1914, what really happened was that in an absolutely invisible way and without anyone seeing it, Jesus had been enthroned in heaven, although it was invisible to human eyes. In October 1914, a world-shattering event occurred in heaven. Jesus Christ, the permanent heir to David's throne, began to rule as king over humanity. It was very convenient that no one saw that, and that we had to trust the word of good old Russell, who also sold Miracle Wheat and such. But well, let's move on to his successor, Rutherford. I love this one. He was the one who built Beth Sarim for 1925, but before that, in 1918, in his book The Finished Mystery, he said this would happen in a short time, 1917 or 1918. The vast and wide sectarian system would reach its zenith of power only to be suddenly cast into oblivion. Of course, in his famous book, Millions Now, Living Will Never Die, he said that in 1925, the patriarchs would resurrect and that they would conveniently settle in his city. So the Watchtower built in San Diego, California, a mansion called Beth Sarim, or House of the Princes, so that while they came, Rutherford and his wife could enjoy it. What was the result? Did they resurrect? No, the organization said it was a failure of expectations. In the end, Beth Sarim was sold after being built with the money of the faithful, and the money went to the Watchtower like with the Kingdom Halls. Currently, we come to the most famous projection, which is that of 1975, and is that in the 60s and 70s, in a calculation of the 6,000 years of human history that the Watchtower did, they said that when it was fulfilled, the end of the world would come, and they strongly hinted at it in 75. Thousands of witnesses, thousands, and they are thousands, left their jobs, their studies, sold their houses, removed themselves from surgery waiting lists because the end was coming in 75. And what happened? You tell me. The funniest thing is that the Watchtower blamed the followers for misunderstanding and for having expectations that they all had at the same time all over the world, but they hadn't said anything. So everyone thought the same without their organization saying anything. Coincidence? Well, they blamed others. Anyway, I have a very detailed video, you can see it here, about the 1975 prophecy that leaves no doubt they prophesied the end of the world in 75. When you finish this video, take a look and you'll be amazed. Let's go to a prophecy that said it would only stretch until the end of the 20th century, that we wouldn't step into the 21st century. We're already in the first quarter of the 21st century, and here we are. But well, let's see what they said in 84. The Watchtower said, "And if the wicked system of this world survived until the turn of the century, which is highly unlikely in view of world trends and the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, there would still be survivors of the First World War generation. Then they did a little trick, because in the 1989 Watchtower they literally said that the Apostle Paul was leading the Christian missionary activity. He was also laying the foundations for a work that would be completed in our 20th century. In a later reissue of the Watchtower, the 20th century was changed to the typical, in our days, the old reliable. Despite all this, Jehovah's Witnesses continue to trust an organization that has prophesied the end and has evidently failed and has lied time and again to its followers. But they carry on as if nothing happened. How do they justify their mistakes? You might think, well, if you lie, you can lie once, but twice. If someone lies once, it's their fault, but if they lie to me twice, it's mine. Well, they base everything on a proverb that was completely taken out of context, which talks about the light becoming clearer, and then they base their mistake on it. We didn't have light, now we do, now they fail again. Maybe we didn't have much, but now they fail again, now they do. In reality, this constant fear keeps the faithful within the organization and prevents them from leaving or disagreeing with the leaders who are the governing body. But what I think or show isn't what's important. What's important is what you think. What do you believe? Do you think it's really the light that's not entirely clear, or more a method of control? I'd like to know your opinion in the comments, and if you liked this video and think it's useful, please share it, give it a like, and so on. So I think there aren't many doubts left about whether Jehovah's Witnesses have prophesied the end of the world or not. See you in the next one.